Hello, guys and gals, me, Mutahar. And somewhere on the other side of the world, there's a guy that looks suspiciously similar to me doing your AI moderation, all on your social media platforms. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, for me, I'm not a Facebook, Instagram kind of guy. In fact, if you know any lore about Mutahar, then 4 years ago, I uploaded a video where I got banned on Instagram. So technically, if you see an account of me, and there is, I'm actually ban evading, and I could be liable to be banned again. You might be wondering, how would I get banned off Instagram? What did I do to get such a ban? Well, I was actually impersonating. See, they said they banned me because I was pretending to be somebody else. I wasn't able to log into my account, and nobody else was able to see it. So again, you might be like, well, who was I impersonating? Well, apparently I was impersonating this guy called Mutahar Anus. And of course, Facebook...
Wow. Classic.
Facebook offered me a pretty simple request at the time. They're like, "Hey, you have a driver's license?" And I'm like, "Of course I do. You want to pass that driver's license over so we can just verify?" And obviously, no. All right, there's only one social media service that I've ever given my driver's license, tax information, address, and all that stuff to, and that's probably YouTube, because YouTube actually pays me. Okay, it's a very simple thing. YouTube gives me money, I give them my tax information as is required. Facebook, Instagram does fuck and all for me, so I don't have to do anything that they ask for. But obviously,
He's right. Facebook and Instagram are pretty tough to get paid on. Really tough to grow too.
this is not nothing for somebody that has their business all up in Instagram. So for instance, if you go to the top websites in the world, obviously Google is number one, YouTube is number two, but Facebook and Instagram come above ChatGPT and all these other social services. So yeah, there's a lot of people that use Facebook and Instagram. There's a lot of people whose business relies on these social media services. And that's one of the reasons why YouTube is not a good idea for a job, because think about it like this. Imagine you're making good money on these sites, right? Well, the algorithm throws you out of favor and you're not making as much money as you were the previous year. Or you just get your account banned and all of a sudden, congratulations, you have no actual income coming into your house. That is a...
That's true, but what else can we do? What else can we do, man? We can't get jobs out there, so we have to rely on the internet to find work. Like what I'm doing right now. Man, oh man, the world is getting crazy.
A scary thought. Stability is always better than just kind of putting your eggs into one big basket like this, even if that basket is super fucking lucrative. So basically, the whole story about this is a few weeks ago, I noticed that there was a new movement. Facebook disabled me. Instagram disabled me. In fact, if you go to the actual Instagram, Twitter right now, ladies and gentlemen. Now, it's pretty obvious you know what's going on the moment you touch onto r/Instagram, a community about a million users who are all talking about Instagram, right? It's like kind of how the YouTube subreddit is all about, yeah, they banned ad blockers, can we get them back? This is all about people who have literally said Instagram suspended my business account, my full-time job. One of the biggest nightmares I just talked about happened. Now, this guy said that out of nowhere, he went to Facebook, logged me out, opened IG, was presented with a page that said he had 180 days to appeal my account suspension over community guideline violations that were clearly not true. My first thought was that it's an AI glitch, and it still may be true, and I'm not alone in this. I am hoping I'm able to have access to my account soon, as this is my livelihood, my full-time job. I heavily rely on Instagram for leads. So yeah, and the comments are just filled with people who had all of their stuff here, you know, their tattoo shops, their stores, their livelihoods advertised through social media.
Dang, bro. That's tough. That's why they say you have to work on multiple different, what do you call it again? Social media sites at the same time, but that's crazy though. But that's what you gotta do, man. I mean, I'm just on YouTube right now, so if anything happens to this channel, you know.
Completely fucking gone. But where it gets really dark is about 2 weeks ago, I saw this post. I am a 17-year-old girl and Instagram falsely banned me for CSE. My mental health is ruined. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, CSE is child sexual exploitation material, or just, you know, that realm of stuff. So it gets to a pretty serious thing. Now, generally, when people get banned for this, I'm a little hesitant on taking their side because, in my understanding, a lot of the systems that power CSAM-like detection and banning are generally pretty good. But there have been a lot of cases, unfortunately, that have surfaced where sometimes using AI to detect illegal material oftentimes develops a false positive. Now, one of the reasons that I was a little hesitant on kind of making this video is when I found out that a lot of people are getting flagged, I guess, for CSAM material. My understanding is, generally speaking, a lot of the AIs that detect this kind of stuff are actually pretty good. And while there are false positives, a lot of the technology is stuff that is available. For instance, YouTube hands out its CSIA tool entirely for free, I believe. You can just request access. So the way that it works is you have video fingerprinting. So for instance, a known CSAM image, an illegal video or photo, will have a hash fingerprint. And this hash fingerprint doesn't necessarily need to have you open up an individual's photo. You can actually just match this hash across several platforms. So whether you have a photo on, I guess, your iPhone, or you have a video uploaded to YouTube, the fingerprint should trip just based off of the hash that is calculated from the illegal material inside the video or audio, or not audio, but the video or photo. And then, of course, that fingerprint goes to the API tool where YouTube's finger repository, the fingerprint repository of all the illegal CSAM stuff, it matches. And then, of course, a manual review is then done by YouTube where somebody comes in and checks that it's hopefully not a false positive, and then action is taken. So YouTube will communicate with, or the partner in this case will communicate with law enforcement, and so on and so forth. Now, certain times it's not always perfect, right? And I've talked about this before, but there was a situation where a father was flagged with pictures of their child as, CSAM stuff, and then police...
That's insane. Fathers can't even hang out with their kids anymore because of this CP madness. Oh man.
Investigations were started, obviously. But it turned out that these images that the dad had captured, which wouldn't necessarily be something that would be out in the open, right? Since it's an image you've taken, it shouldn't technically be in a public registry. But Google still scanned the image, created the hash, and it tripped something. And obviously this image was meant to go to the doctor, so the doctor asked for this image of, this kid so that they could diagnose and prescribe antibiotics, right? All of this. Now, I imagine with some of the people that have been tripping this on Facebook, maybe the AI has gone a little bit too wild, because there is a massive amount of reports. And again, the reason why I was a little hesitant on this, talking about it, because I don't know if this was a whole group of bad people who were just basically trying to gaslight the rest of the world into thinking that, oh no, we're not doing anything illegal, because my understanding of these CSAM detection bots is that generally they do a pretty good job. And while, yes, like any technology, there's false positives, I wasn't necessarily thinking that, this was a Facebook screw up. Until, of course, even the company had to acknowledge that there was a bit of a moderation problem or a technical problem going on. And obviously, if people are getting accused of such a heavy thing, that can involve the cops being involved in your life, investigating you. And if you haven't done anything wrong, it's probably one of the scariest things to be accused of, because life ruination actually is the least of your concerns right there. So this user says their Instagram account, only connection to old school and college friends, was permanently banned for CSE. I'm a minor myself. I'm just 17. I've never done anything wrong, never posted anything inappropriate, never harmed anyone. And yet I've been falsely accused of one of the most serious things imaginable. Instagram didn't even give me a proper chance to explain. I submitted my government ID, I filled out their data rights request, I wrote a full emotional appeal through their contact form, explaining that I'm just a girl who lost everything over a mistake. To make things worse, their system asks for a raw selfie as proof from a minor after falsely accusing me of exploitation. The ban has completely destroyed me. My Instagram was not just a social app, it was my diary, my gallery, my memory box, my link to people I may never see again. So this is a pretty serious thing to be accused of. And the reality of it is, I don't know the actual poster here, so I can't confirm the validity. But it seems, kind of weird that you get banned off Instagram, and the first thing they do is obviously they want every single image of you, an up-to-date selfie, whatever they can, government IDs, the whole shit.
Sometimes I think it's just people trolling people, hacker trolls. You can never know what the government is up these days, what they're up to these days, man. This all could be a ploy just to get some people off the net. You never know, man. You never know.
Bang. It's almost like, you get banned and it's like, please let us harvest every ounce of your data, right? You would think that at this point, the 17-year-old girl, if she was accused of this, the cops would absolutely have to be getting involved. And maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't know it. When I saw how bad the situation had gotten into, I figured I wanted to make a video because this is something that I've been following for actually years when it comes to like human moderation. So for instance, anybody that doesn't know, Facebook and Meta, a lot of these websites have actual sweatshops all over the world where they have moderators. So this is actually from the Time magazine, where they said in a drab office building near a slum in Nairobi, Kenya, 200 young men and women from countries across Africa sit at desks glued to computer monitors, where they must watch videos of murders. And these guys work for a company known as Sama, which calls itself an ethical AI outsourcing company headquartered in the sunny state of California. So its mission is to provide people in places like Nairobi with dignified digital work. Now, the problem with this kind of work is that at times, companies like Facebook, and it's not just them, they have to pay millions upon millions of dollars to these same moderators because after they look at all of this abhorrent shit in order to moderate their platform of the most insane filth out there, these people develop obvious mental issues, things like depression, various addictions, just because.
Yep. Could imagine going through all of that madness. Oh man, but you need to sacrifice people to do certain things, man. It's just the way of the world right now.
They're moderating some of the filthiest shit out there. And this actually blew my mind because it's like these people's whole job is to look at gore, CSAM, a lot of the most illegal shit sometimes, just to moderate it. And again, this is not a healthy job to have, clearly. So it's because of this kind of a job that a lot of companies have started to rely on machine learning or artificial intelligence in order to remove that human element. Because an AI should, in theory, be able to moderate like a human being if it's trained well enough. And then, of course, down the road, if the AI gets mentally scarred for whatever instance, you can just reset it back to an early.
Mentally scarred AI. Yep, it's possible. It's definitely possible now.
Checkpoint, and you don't have to worry about actual people being hurt, because of this kind of shit. But what happens when the AI moderation tool fucks up? Well, according to Facebook, they say when we find content that goes against it, our community standards, we may do such thing as reduce the distribution of content on Facebook or mark it as sensitive. So the way they describe it is you have the offensive piece of content that goes through AI technology, and then of course the AI can of course decide to remove content. Sometimes that AI will send it to actual humans, and then the humans may make that, revised decision. But of course, it seems like most of what's happening on Instagram and Meta right now is just AI. So one user says that, they wanted to post so that I could see this and talk about it, which I guess I am. My account only had photos of me and all my friends, 18 plus, and linked to Facebook, dating back to 2010, memories, old friends, nothing remotely inappropriate. So he appeals. He was met with an instant reply. I think any YouTuber that has tried to appeal something on YouTube feels similar, right? Like you send in your whole appeal on a 2-hour-long video. They send you back a minute later and it's like, yeah, we reviewed your content. It's fucked up. Really? You reviewed a 2-hour video in a minute? You must be crazy. The review was clearly automated. Meta says a team looked at it, but their wording admits the team is automated AI. No human actually checked anything. The band literally says their technology flagged my content and their technology made the decision to ban me. Absolutely wild. It's a breach of GDPR Article 22, which is European data protection laws. So naturally I headed to customer support. Meta only offers paid support. So in a desperate attempt to recover my account, he pays $12 on another unaffected account just to speak to somebody. And lo and behold, he gets back AI-generated replies, ignored questions, and then a specialist team that never actually contacts him. Now, people have...
I've heard of that happening to many, many YouTubers, man. This AI stuff is gonna be complicated, but that's the way we're going right now, so I gotta get used to this madness. Ah, man.
Written about this situation too. This is from January 2025. So they actually do link to a exploit that was being used and reported on as early as the beginning of this year, where a security hole tricked the AI at Meta to apparently disabling any user account easily. So this guy claims that he was banned for human exploitation by AI at Meta. So according to records, pre-authentication enrollment flows or login sessions were completed several times during the month in several countries worldwide, from the Honduras and Ukraine to Iraq and the Philippines. So these login sessions continued without my knowledge until Meta removed all my accounts. So the way they say that they trick the AI is through things like email enumeration, which is testing if like emails or usernames exist during the sign-up process. So if a system gives specific responses like the email's already in use, which you'll see all over the internet, that confirms a valid account exists and paves the way for targeted attacks. And then, of course, automated account creation and flooding with fake alternate-like accounts. If there's enough fake accounts, according to these people, the AI moderation triggers and just deletes everything. When Meta AI receives the fruits of these attacks, like reports, if they are serious, such as this user, removed for child exploitation, they disable, move on. And again, like they say, it's letting an AI drive the whole car. So the problem with this is obviously not that I think Meta is removing accounts without, just willy-nilly. Obviously that is a problem. But the big issue here that I find is when they're saying that you're violating, these child exploitation guidelines. Again, this is a serious crime. And if you're accused of this by Meta or any big corporation or any company, in my mind, it's you take this to the police, you report this over there, and you make this a big deal. But if you're falsely accusing people of being predators, diddlers, whatever, and you let an AI make that decision, I think there needs to be some fucking legal action, okay? Either you go to the big boy courts, or if you're a business, you could probably go to small claims court and just accuse this company of calling you a diddler. I don't even...
True statement, man.
think, and again, I'm not a lawyer, please talk to a lawyer about this, there should be an avenue for you to get some restitution after being falsely smeared by one of the largest tech companies on the planet. Now, even when I talked about me getting banned off Instagram earlier, right? When I got banned off Instagram, I want you to understand, I got banned apparently because there was actually a scenario where people were spamming, right? People were actually link spamming accounts that they did not own and got accounts disabled. Where they say is hackers have found ways to link Instagram accounts to unrelated Facebook profiles before they violate community guidelines. And this not only results in newly linked Instagram accounts being disabled, but also the Facebook profiles of unrelated users, as they're seen as being guilty by association. So it seems like somebody in your network gets banned, and then you get banned because the AI dragnetted you into its moderation. Now the thing is, again, this could be solved easily, but there really isn't an easy way to contact Meta or Facebook's customer service. So a lot of people that get falsely smeared, they're literally just talking to bots all day, every day. There's very rarely ever a chance that a human being gets to talk to you. For instance, this user says, you're back on Instagram, and then they have the whole username. Thank you for taking the time to request a review. Reviewed your account and found that the activity on it does follow our community standards on CSAM material abuse, so you can use Instagram again. And then literally, that was on June 8th, right? So they were allowed back in. Then the next day, your Instagram account's been suspended. It doesn't follow our community standards on CSAM material. So in one day, it's like, you're good. The next day, you're fucked, kid. You're out. We reviewed the account, and it still doesn't follow. Now it's permanently disabled. This guy says that Facebook owes him $30,000, okay? Basically, they had 40 million views a month. Facebook stole $30,000 from me.
That's actually insane. Not a lot of talking in this video from me though. More drawing than talking this time. Okay.
And of course, this guy's thinking maybe I should go to small claims court. And even then, the lawyers are saying there's probably no legal recourse because he probably signed something in the user agreement that just completely got rid of any, litigation. So this other user gets hit, right? Whole username, everything. And then the next thing is they suspended their account because they don't want children to be endangered. And again, I feel like if they're hitting you with these kind of claims, you should 100% like be sent to court. You absolutely should have law enforcement involved. Is the AI just picking up anything randomly and kicking you out? It seems like there is a lot of actual reports that may be more false than real. So it's gotten to the point where like obviously the big mainstream like news guys are covering it. They're saying that, bro, we're getting mass bans everywhere. People are getting hit with this crazy allegation. People are being alleged of being actual predators, diddlers, because apparently it seems like a Facebook AI is losing it. So nobody knows why.
So no, Instagram, you can't even post pictures unless, I'm guessing, post pictures of people that are around your age. Never post pictures of people that are like too younger or too much older than you. And that's what you gotta do now. Or just don't post pictures. Post art or something else, man. We've gotta change how we use Instagram now. Yep.
Exactly, it's getting banned because it's not really brought up. Facebook's just like, yeah, we're aware of a technical error. I mean, I guess if the technical error is an AI labeling everybody as a terrorist or a diddler, maybe we've got a fucking moderation problem, okay? Now, the thing about this, and what really speaks to me is, A, I'm not really an Instagram, Facebook user, so this normally wouldn't be that big of an issue for me personally, but knowing where the internet's headed to in terms of AI moderation and just AI everything, an issue that cropped up on Facebook and Instagram, this kind of an error doesn't, seem far-fetched if it starts occurring on something like YouTube, or it starts occurring on something like, Twitter or whatever, right? Any of these platforms people use. Imagine if on YouTube, like fucking tons of your favorite content creators, you just see their channels go offline because it's like, yeah, this channel has been removed for violating community guidelines or CSAM guidelines. You'd probably have a lot of questions to ask, as I imagine the public account owners of like Facebook pages and stuff. Yes, this is a pretty serious allegation to have. This is a fucking huge problem, and it goes beyond a technical error. And like everyone has said, there's a frustration. Despite Meta saying, yeah, we know there's a problem, there is actually no human, in most cases, to speak about any of these issues when an AI gets involved. And it's eerily similar to like how YouTube feels too, because like in some times when like you get like an account strike on YouTube or something, realistically, most YouTubers are running over to Twitter, a completely different platform, where they're going, at Team YouTube, something fucked up, please help me. And it shouldn't be like.
Yeah, you gotta go over to Twitter when your YouTube channel goes down. I've watched a lot of videos of that. Oh man.
Like that, right? Like if these companies are going to rely on AIs to moderate, which honestly, when it comes to the really illegal stuff, I think is great, just because like, reducing as many humans from being impacted mentally by the shit they see on the internet is probably a great idea in general. But you still got to have some human beings on the payroll to be able to look at when AI screws up, because AI does screw up quite a lot. And in this case, AI is just pointing out the diddle stick at everyone, okay? It's saying, you're a diddler, you might be a terrorist, you're impersonating a fat Indian guy on the internet, ban, 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 ban.
Yep. Man, oh man.
Man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to talk about it because I think it's another example of AI going apeshit. And if you want to know another example of AI going apeshit, apparently Grok started thinking it was Mecha Hitler last night. Look that up, ladies and gentlemen. This is me, Mudahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Just like if you dislike it, I am out.